Welcome to SportsCraft. This is Blackjack. We're going to do something a little different today in terms of commentary style. This is going to be a little bit more, well, not really edited because I'm currently in the process of editing down the NBA 2K17 My GM games and getting that ready for either tonight or tomorrow. So I wanted to take some quick time out to go ahead and talk about Dynasty setup, since this is something I actually wanted to release a lot earlier, but then got backtracked with the Aurora Dynasty stuff. Okay, so here we are. We're on the EA Sports TeamBuilder website. Specifically, if you want to do TeamBuilder stuff, so this is what we'll cover first. Here's what you want to do. Here's how you design and pretty much do everything inside of it. Okay, you're gonna go ahead and click Create a New School once you've gone ahead and you've logged in and everything. And then this is pretty much the template and everything. So you go into the general, you type in your team's name. I don't know, Blackjack. I'm going to use the Eagles because that's going to be the design I'm going to be using. And then, I don't know, put in your university name there. Okay. Then, put where you want them to be from. I'll put in my hometown. Well, not my hometown, but where I guess the city I currently reside in. And then go ahead and put North Carolina. Okay, you can put in your coach name, whatever, stadium name, all that stuff doesn't matter. The school type doesn't matter either. It really had no effect on the game whatsoever what school type you put in. So those aren't things you have to worry about. Should worry about is school prestige. Actually, you don't have to fill that out either, but you should at some point if you want it to affect like dynasty ratings and whatnot. So if this is a really prestigious school, bump it up to 6. If you want to start out from like scratch, start at 1. Okay, and then school colors and everything you can kind of edit here, but we'll get into that in a bit. So after you've done all that, you want to go ahead and jump into your logo. This is gonna kind of nice because it feels a little bit more like you're doing the process with me, rather than me kind of going like, I've already finished the design and now you can just see it. And so it kind of feels nice, like it's all a stream of consciousness. So you go ahead, upload your logo. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into my Photoshop file so you can see all the work I do in here. There you go. I didn't do a great job cutting it out. I really just did this for kind of just, you know, the purpose of just showing you how to do it. I didn't want to go in and spend a lot of time doing it. And then I'm going to use a Nike logo here. We'll get into that a little bit later. But pretty much you only get to use 2 logos. I'm going to use the Eagle design here. And then what you can do so you can actually go ahead into those logo colors. Oh, no, it's because, okay, so you want to pick the primary first. Use that as your logo colors, and we'll go ahead and kind of select everything there. Now, one thing to note here is always pay attention to what color number 1 is. Color number 1 is going to be the color of, once you actually get out of TeamBuilder and you import it into Dynasty, color number 1 is going to determine your accessory colors. So, you know, your long sleeves, your wristbands and all that. That's what color number 1 is going to dominate with. And color number 1 gets a little bit tricky. So what we're going to do is with color 1 here, I'm going to slide it around. Okay, so you see there how I brought it to the yellow and it's just like an X. It's like, no, you can't do that as your primary. There's a workaround for that, and I'll get into that one in a second here. But for some reason, TeamBuilder is really particular about how light of a color your home jerseys are. And I don't know if it's just to be like, hey, you know, make sure your home jerseys are like a good enough color because you don't want like something that's like white on white in certain games if you do like home and away. I'm guessing that's the reasoning behind it. I don't know what it actually is, but yeah, keep an eye on that. So I'm gonna go ahead and slide 1 to be that blue color. That blue's a little light. I don't know why it's so light there, but anyway, I'm gonna make 2 the yellow and then slide black into 3. Now you can always edit these. Oh, sorry, no, I don't want to do that. So you can always edit these. You want to keep that background color transparent, obviously, but you can go ahead and edit around and mess with these colors if you go back to the general. So what you can even do here, is you can go ahead and click that, and if you want to change it to yellow, there you go. This will also allow you then to create alternative uniforms that have a yellow color or brighter colors. So like sometimes it's picky about orange too. You can go ahead and this is your workaround to get like those special like yellow uniforms or anything like that, is that you can always come here and select which color you want as your primary. Even if you wanted to go and do like white, you can get away with it right here just by doing that. But again, we're going to go ahead and stick with that. So if you wanted to make it yellow, you can do that. But I'm going to actually go back and, well, you know what? Actually, for the point of this, I actually got to fix this again. Give me 1 second here. So you're going to go back to your logo colors, do that, drag that here, make that black. Okay. Then go back. So this way, at least your 2 is your blue color. Then go ahead and pick your yellow there. Okay. Awesome. You'll see how this all affects everything in a second. So now we've gone ahead and picked our colors. So yellow is going to be our accessory colors and everything. Let's go ahead and pick the stadium. You can pick whatever you want. I usually go I usually go and just kind of look around and see which ones I like. It doesn't really matter. I'll pick, I don't know, this Kansas. Sure. Okay. So we'll use Kansas Stadium here. Go ahead and select your field. Usually for the end zones, I like for the color to be the primary, and then let the text kind of be the accent color. And I usually like to stay away from like text outlines. I mean, you can use them, but they usually don't show up very well once you actually import them and they're in game. So yeah, like that. Nice blue on the background. Yellow stands out nice enough, and then you can go ahead and just kind of pick your font as well. Just go ahead to your end zone text, do italics, do standard. I'm usually a bigger fan of standard. Standard usually comes out a lot better, so that's what I'll use here. You can pick your turf. You can do a blue turf if you want to, like Swami did. Synthetic, the multicolor, the natural grass and the synthetic pretty much look the same. And I actually picked multicolor for the Aurora Dynasty, but I'll go ahead and use synthetic for this one. Go ahead and adjust your display logo. The logo, how big you want to display it. There you go. And your sideline logos, you can get rid of those. Since it's going to be the Nike logo, I don't really need it. Now, the only reason I picked the Nike logo there is because some people always want to be like, oh, you know, I want this to look super official, and it's got to have like the Nike logo or like the Under Armour logo or the Adidas logo or whatever. So I'm gonna explain how you can do that here and what your workaround is. So as you can see here, the jersey is yellow and the numbers are blue here. So this is kind of my mindset when approaching jerseys. Now, again, the only reason I did that is so that I can make the alternative a yellow color if I wanted to. That's a choice you can make. It's completely up to you. You don't have to, but I kind of like to do that. So that's what I like about how at least they do it here, is that you can choose what color your accessories are going to be. Whereas like in NBA 2K, it's just kind of random. Like, I guess the more abundance of a certain color that you have on the uniform is what's going to determine what they pick as team color 1 and team color 2. It's really awkward and weird. But again, okay, so let's go ahead here. We're going to get rid of the chest logo there. And you can actually move it. I can't remember where Nike puts their logo at. I think it was right at the chest. Bam, there you go. Put the Nike logo there. Or if you want to, you can even move it up a little bit to that upper chest, where I think it's actually a little bit more appropriate. Actually, let me go ahead and move it to the upper left. There you go. Nice little Nike swoosh to say, hey, Nike's the outfitter or whatever. I won't use it here, but I just want to show people, hey, that's how you can do it. All right, so from there, what I like to do, especially in TeamBuilder, is just kind of strip down the entire jersey. So no pattern whatsoever. Now watch here. This is what I mean with the primary 1 and primary 2. So because you've set it as 1, the game is automatically going to make jersey 1, your jersey be the base color 1 for your homes. Here's where it gets tricky though. If you change it and it's a light color like yellow, so if I go to blue now, which I do want to use here, I can't go ahead and click back on it 2. I can go ahead and pick 3, I can go back to 2 and everything, but it does not let me go back to 1 if it's too light of a color. So do be wary of that, pay attention to it, because if you do mess up and you switch, you're going to have to go all the way back and start all over again. So keep that in mind. Like I said, we're going to go ahead, no pattern now. So I can go ahead and I can go back to the full uniform and just kind of see how everything looks. Usually what I like to do is I like to kind of base it off of, as you can see here, whatever this main color is and then what this main color is, and kind of base everything off of there. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to my primary pants, and I'm going to go no pattern here as well. And I'll actually go yellow because usually the accent colors do better as pants in football than they do as, like, you know, having the primary. So yeah, I mean, you can go blue on blue, but it just looks a little too like monochromatic. I'll go yellow here. And it just kind of makes the jersey pop a little bit more and stand out. Looks a little bit more footballish. All right, so there you go. Nice, basic, simple kind of look. And then from here, this is where you start to kind of like add in stripes and everything to your jersey. The helmet's actually bothering me because that Nike symbol should not be there. So we're going to go ahead and throw the eagle on there. Bam. Right there. Bam. That's the nice thing that I like about this game is that it actually goes ahead and flips the logos for you. It doesn't work as well for like lettering, but if you have like something like a hawk or like something like this, a logo where it can be flipped around, really looks nice to kind of have it flipped on, you know, the other side, because you'd hate for it to look like that, where it's like the eagle's facing one direction the other way and then one direction the other way like that. Kind of nice to have it like facing the same direction. You can also do, yeah, if you wanted to, you can go the whole Alabama thing and make your numbers look like that. But again, we'll stick with the eagle and let that go ahead and be the basis. Okay. We'll get back to the helmet design in a bit. So there you go. You can already see it's somewhat coming together. Nice little yellow helmet, which I might actually stick with. I kind of like that. Blue jersey, yellow pants. All right. So from here, I actually kind of want to go with a nice matte style. So if you've seen the Greeley uniforms from episode, I guess it would technically be episode 2, it was the red versus white game. Greeley just has like a nice simple design. Like there's no outline around the numbers or anything like that. And usually for high school, what I'll do is that I'll turn off the numbers. But if this is supposed to be a college uniform, I usually like keep that. Not turn off the numbers, turn off the name. But for a college uniform, you can keep it on. There you go. Like the yellow just kind of pops nicely on the blue on its own. Alrighty, you're coming together, and this looks like a nice, simple, basic, like either throwback uniform or a simple like high school uniform where it's maybe by a team that, you know, can't afford a lot of money, on their uniforms or whatever. It's a nice, simple, basic design thus far. Looks clean. So, yeah, for Greeley, for example, I just have a italic, and it looks very, very nice in the game, especially with like the shoulder pad stripes up there. So if you want to go for a nice matte finish, that's what I do. If you want to kind of go for like a stitching look, and I know I have some black here, I usually advise against black on two colors like blue and yellow because it never really looks good. But if you wanted it to kind of like give a nice pop, you can do that, where you get both outlines that like blackish color. You see how it kind of nicely defines the numbers a lot better? You can do that there and kind of have the black be the stitching. You can then like incorporate black inside the uniform or do whatever you want there. If you want to make it white, you can always click on the side there. But the white just stands out a little bit too much. It feels like it turns on bright. It looks a little better in game, but I usually like like a darker color to kind of be around the border for something that light as a yellow. So we'll stick with the black here. Or again, if you want to, just go matte. The matte looks just fine, and it'll look a lot better in game too. All right, so there we go. We've got that all set up. Next thing you want to do is kind of just take a look at your uniform already. Okay, so maybe now we'll incorporate a little bit of black here, since that black is standing out nicely, and maybe incorporate it into the bottom of the pants, or incorporate it somewhere here in the top of the uniform. So we'll go back to the jersey. Let's see, there's usually some really nice designs here. So again, you could do something as simple as this. This nice little shoulder design here, and it'll tell you like if there's like green and red, this means like these are colors you can go ahead and choose. So you go black and yellow. So this is what you also want to look out for as well. While that looks nice up there, what I don't like here is this piping on the side. I usually hate having to deal with any sort of piping that like runs down the side of a jersey. It never looks good on football jerseys. Basketball jerseys, yes. Football jerseys, it never looks, I don't want to say it never looks good, but it usually doesn't. Especially if it's just a broad stripe running down the side like that. So we're actually going to skip this one. I'm not a fan of that one. Yeah, so like this is kind of like the one I use for Aurora. The one I use for Aurora doesn't run along the sides like that, and I think they're a little bit longer too. But yeah, there's a ton of like different stripe designs. My idea for this, you know, when you're designing uniforms is keep it as simple as possible. The simpler it is, the better it usually turns out. The second you get into crazy stuff like this, you want to be careful of like what you're doing. So usually what I'll do here is I usually like to mock the jets a little bit. So I'd go like that stripe color. No, that would have to be black. Because what's going to happen is that I'll put the numbers like right here in the center, make it pop out there. You see the nice yellow numbers. And then I would get rid of, let's see if that's black. I'd go blue up there. There you go. See the jersey starting to return back to normal. I'd probably even get rid of that too by making that blue. So there you go. It's like a nice black cuff on the outside. If you want to mess around with the colors too. You can make it yellow there, and instead of doing the numbers, just do the little bird there on the side. Whichever you want to do. There's a lot of different ways you can kind of mess around with that. So it's oh, hi. No. That's not what I wanted at all. Go back. There we go. Yeah, you can go around and like mess around with this how you want. So yeah, even if you wanted to do white there, you can do that. But I'm going to actually stay away from that particular stripe. I'm actually going to keep it nice and simple here, just so I can, oh, you can do that too. Just kind of have the yellow there. Usually the blue cuff there, you can control the cuff color too by clicking cuff colors and just looking through there. There's a ton of like wacky different things you can do. But I'm going to keep it nice and simple. One of my favorite ones is always go to stripe 67 and take the numbers off of there. And I'll usually throw the numbers right on the top. So you can go to shoulder logo, put it up there. Bam, look at that. Nice, kind of looks professional. And then what you do is go to your jersey colors. Usually you like to put the accent in the middle if it's a bright one. So the yellow can be that that stripe there, and then pick black there. And it works just like the way it kind of mimics the numbers, where you see black on the outside, yellow on the inside. Same here, black on the inside, yellow. Black on the outside, yellow on the inside. Let's pop back out. Uniform's starting to come together a little bit. I like it. All right, so after you've gone ahead and you've set up your home jersey, and I mean, you know, because you can look at the away too. I mean, granted, it's not going to be white like that, but essentially you can tell white and yellow, kind of a good accent. I mean, it's the same with like the Packers or North Dakota State. They always go like yellow pants, and yellow pants usually goes good with, you know, a white jersey or green jersey or blue jersey or whatever the accent is supposed to be. It's the same way with the Pittsburgh Steelers, same thing. Yellow pants, black top, works. Even with the white as well. So we'll stay on the, I'm only going to do the home design here because I feel it'll get a little redundant if I go ahead and jump into like away, home, alt. I don't want to do a whole thing here and be here for an hour because I still have the NBA 2K video to do. But yeah, then once you've done that, you can even just keep a nice simple yellow pant like that and just have the Nike logo on the side if you wanted to. And it's black, so it kind of matches the rest of the uniform. I mean, the uniform to me looks damn near complete. But if you wanted to, you can go ahead and get a little fancy. You can either do like a big stripe here. Let's do a black stripe, kind of contrast. There you go. Down the side there. I don't really like that or care for that one, actually. You can do this whole thing where you go ahead. No, I would actually do for this, I would do blue on the outside and black on the inside there. Go to full. Nah, I'm not too big on that one either because it just doesn't match well. Even if I did the black on the outside there, it doesn't match well with everything up there. But, you know, it's decent enough. I usually like to go, if I'm doing with this many colors and I have a black all of a sudden, what I'll do is I will use, where is it at? Where's the big fat, there's a big fat stripe that usually runs across just the middle of it. Or you know what, you can do what I did for Aurora, which is essentially, you can just have the two colors there and none of them have to sandwich each other. So this way it's just like, oh, okay. You don't have to deal with like the two like trying to squish for power or anything like that. No, they just kind of share. And it looks good on either one. Or you can just go a solo big stripe down the center. If I can find it, where is it? Am I just going blind today? Oh, I know what I did. You can also manipulate it. So you can manipulate stripes. So if you have a color of the same color here, just go yellow, get rid of that. Nice big black stripe, kind of like the Steelers. So there, I mean, you can go ahead and figure out whatever color design or pattern you want to run down the center there, and use it. So yeah, I mean, that's how you make a nice kind of snazzy uniform in TeamBuilder. And then from there, if you're setting up for Dynasty, after you get past all of that, you can go ahead and pick your mascot if you want to. Here is where you really want to kind of figure things out here. Things that you usually, from at least my experience from playing like NCAA 13 and before that, like I played NCAA 14, but I never really dove huge into Dynasty in it. So from my experience, I know that things like academic prestige, campus lifestyle are things that you can't change. Athletic facilities, I think, is another one. These other things are things that can like increase and be controlled later on in the game. So if you are at a school that's like not very academic, I would set it here now and be like, oh yeah, we're just kind of like a C- in academic prestige. You know, move things around however you see fit. I don't know why. Oh, apparently for academic prestige, the lowest I can go is a C. I can't go any further than that. Campus lifestyle, if we're in Raleigh, yeah, I guess, you know, Raleigh's a decent city. Go to B. You can determine your coach prestige here if you want to. Championship contender, if you're trying to do something that's a cupcake, all the way down to the bottom. Athletic facilities, determine whatever you want. Everything here, it's all like television exposure. If you play in bigger games, you go up through the rankings. That's something that's always going to go up. So if you're doing like a I'm starting from scratch thing, go down as far as you can. And you know, you can do something depending on like what market you're in. So if your team is in, I don't know, California, maybe give them a little bit more because they may play bigger teams like USC and UCLA, so give them a little kickstart. But that's always something that can raise depending on strength of schedule and how you do during the season. And then over here on the side for offense and defense, you can go ahead and set that. But tendencies don't really matter unless you're playing them, you know, and the CPU is controlling them. Then you can go ahead there and set whatever you want there. So after you've done that, here comes the big part of this. It's the roster, okay? Hurricane at first, and I kind of had to correct him on this to fix this. Hurricane at first picked a cupcake team, and then you can just go ahead and randomize the names and then fill everything in as you want. So be aware of this, because then sometimes you get like some white guy named Jabari Baker, and it's just like, you know, correct as you will. Like Khalid Key. Okay, all right, no, that's fair enough. But yeah, you can go ahead and just kind of mess around however you want there, and play with the names and just go ahead and just put it in however you want. You can change the year and everything. But the one mistake that I realized that as I was setting up the Aurora thing, and it took me a while to set up because I was messing around in TeamBuilder so much, is that the templates actually do affect states and where your players are from. So I wanted the unique challenge of having to fight for Colorado and getting back into the state of Colorado. Unfortunately, the cupcake roster already has you start out in like New York City, Georgia, Florida as your pipeline states, and that's when I was like, okay, I need to actually kind of look through and figure out what teams in there are at certain states. So for my Dynasty, I actually went and I made my roster template. Who was it? I believe it was Utah State. Unfortunately, I have to scroll down here really far in order to do it, but so there we go. Utah State. Bam. And then all the players and everything reflected too. You saw the numbers change. Go ahead and just randomize the names and everything. And then all you have to do here is just go ahead and go through and edit everybody from there, which means you're going to be changing overalls and everything. And I went and I like stripped everybody down to like 60s. Nobody broke 70 overall, except for my kicker and my punter, but it's really hard to kind of control that. So yeah, you kind of just have everything like that and then set it up all the way through. So now when I go in and I import them, it'll say like, oh, their states and everything is going to be reflected the same way that Utah State's actual roster is. And it avoids the problem of having to deal with pipeline states and everything like that. So the smart thing that you want to do, and we'll go into the actual game itself and I'll explain this, is that you want to make sure that your pipeline states, that you go through Dynasty and you look at teams like pipeline states and where they are, and that'll kind of help you figure out which team you at least want to base your template off of, and then go ahead and edit them accordingly. So yeah, once you've gone ahead and you've gone and selected your roster and everything, I'm not going to save it here because I don't want it to take up space. You go ahead, click Save School, and you're pretty much ready to go and get your team on TeamBuilder. So let's go ahead and jump into NCAA football now. Okay, so now that we're inside of NCAA football, you're going to go ahead, and when you want to go start your new dynasty, here's the first thing you want to do. You're going to want to at least first, actually, we can do this as an existing coach. There's no point in doing it as a brand new one. So once you do it, go ahead, jump in as an existing coach, offline dynasty. All the information and stuff is not going to matter because you're going to want to just go in there and kind of figure out where people are, what are your pipeline states, especially if you're doing TeamBuilder. If you're not doing TeamBuilder, basically you're going to want to go set up and everything and do stuff like that, but we're going to get into that in a second. All right, so for instance, let's not pick Colorado. Let's say that I want this team to be in the state of Florida. Sure. Okay. So let's pick a team like Florida International. I'm kind of curious where they're getting their players from. So you can go ahead, jump in, pick your FIU Panthers. Don't have to worry about any of that. And the first thing that you're going to want to jump into in order to see is set up recruiting board. So you can go ahead and skip to recruiting because it's not going to matter. And then once you get inside recruiting, you're going to be able to see that team's pipeline states. Once it go ahead and come on, get through the scouting reports. There we go. All right. So once you do that, what you can do is pipeline states. It'll tell you right there. Okay, 61 coming from Florida. So that means that you're going to be fighting in every other state to find recruits. So that actually, if you wanted to do a Florida team, you could actually use FIU as a good example there, because it would make sense for you to get all of your recruits from Florida. Florida is filled with football prospects and is one of the top states to recruit from. But it would be harder for you to then kind of build on from other states. So you'd actually have to go into states like Georgia, which would be another good state to kind of pick up recruits from. If you wanted to go out to California or expand outside of your range for FIU, you're going to have to fight for it outside of Florida. So that's kind of nice. I like that. But yeah, if you wanted to check out like other schools and say like, oh, maybe having 61 is a little too tough, you can go ahead, and what you can do is you can stay in the same dynasty. And what you'll do is, let me actually turn off autosave. Will make this a little easier. System settings. There we go. Autosave off. And you can actually set up a lot in here too. You go to, where is it? Coach Central. There it is. You go to Coach Central, Coach Info. And what you can do from here is that you can actually go ahead, and if you wanted to, you can add coaches, and you can also edit coaches in here. So let's say you wanted to go, where is FIU? In the CUSA? Okay. So you can look at all the jobs. You can go to your offensive coordinator. You can go to Shankweiler here. You press A to edit him. Okay, the game apparently does not want me to edit him. That's fine. But essentially what I came in here for was to take control of another team. So you can hit right button, yep, and go ahead in here and just create a new coach. And you just make them new coach. Just hit continue and assign them to a school. So let's say, all right, how about instead of Florida, I want to kind of look at the recruiting scene going on in the state of... let's say New Jersey. Okay, so if I want to do New Jersey and I want to make it a little difficult, yeah, let's look at Rutgers and just kind of see how Rutgers looks. Just for Rutgers isn't in the Big Ten at this point yet. So back then they would have been in the Big East, but they're not the Big East, so they would have been in the American. What was Rutgers in at this point? There, okay, yeah, they were in the American. Okay. So you go ahead, you make him the head coach. Sign them on. And then from there, what you'll do is you can now switch between control of what coach you wanted. So if, like, let's say you and your friend are at home and you just wanted to do kind of a dynasty together, that's how you can actually get 2 people in the same dynasty. Go ahead to the recruiting board, look in those pipeline states again, and then bam, it gives you the whole list: New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and look, you even get Florida as a pipeline to start off with. So yeah, that's how you go ahead and you see all the different pipelines. And then based on which kind of pipeline system you like, you can actually then fine tune everything and follow along inside the roster in TeamBuilder by looking at the roster in here. So if you want to control which players come from where, you can actually look at the roster here. So it'll say like, okay, Zach Allen, he's from Texas and he's quarterback number 12. So when you go into TeamBuilder, you look for who number 12 is and you edit him accordingly, because guess what? He's going to be from Temple, Texas. So you actually need to make sure that that guy from Texas has the right attributes and everything that you want, and you can organize the depth chart you want. So if you want your starting quarterback to be from New Jersey, do they have a quarterback from New Jersey? Okay, they don't have a quarterback from New Jersey, so looks like our quarterback's going to be from New York, Chris Laviano. You go ahead into TeamBuilder, you pick number 5, you can change his number inside of TeamBuilder and everything, and when he comes back out through the TeamBuilder, he will be the guy from Glen Falls, New York. And that's how you set everything up. Nice, simple, and easy. All right, so let's do this as if we were actually setting up a TeamBuilder or setting up a new dynasty. And I'll pretend to do this with a TeamBuilder for the sake of this video. All right, you go ahead in. I'm gonna get rid of this because I don't need this in my life. Yes. Okay. So you go ahead and you go to your new dynasty. You can create a new coach, do whatever you want. He's just, for the sake of this video, he's just going to be new coach. I'm not going to set up anything, but I'll show you what you can set up here. Pick a skin tone, body size, and everything, and what he's wearing, and where his alma mater is. And that's important because if you want to do a series where the coach can move, which I actually did think about doing with Smashburn. I seriously did consider that if I continued 13. I was actually going to have him switch schools. I'm not going to do that now with Aurora. He's going to stay there. But yeah, you can go ahead and pick his offensive playbook, determine where he's from and everything. Everything's set to Clemson because I'm a Clemson fan. National champions, 35 years in the making. But yeah, you can go ahead and set up everything you want in here. And then once you do, you just hit continue. You always want to look at your rules and difficulty. What I like to do is I have my coach starting level at just the default of whatever they are normally set at. New coaches will always be at level 1. I keep that coach level progression rate down to slow because I've noticed when I've simulated a few seasons, like they'll be at like level 7 or level 8 by the end of the season in their first year. And I'm like, that's a little too fast. I want some difficulty in building my dynasty, especially if I'm doing a team builder. And then you want to keep generating, if they, if you already have like a named roster or whatever, you want to keep that at no. All right. Then you go into your gameplay options. As you can see here, I have everything on Heisman. I'm playing 8-minute quarters, all that good stuff. Just put in whatever you want. I haven't really set sliders yet. I'm going to work on that tomorrow when I actually play the game and then edit up the video so I can hopefully have it out by Friday for game 1 and set everything up there. Once you've done that, go ahead, jump into your team builder. You're going to import. So you can see here, like I've had a bunch of teams because I just spend time in team builder throughout all my time and just create a whole bunch of different teams just so I can have them at the ready. Seriously, I don't think people understand how much work I put into all of this, like just make things work and make things exactly the way I want. So, you know what, I'll actually pick the good old throwback to Under the Lights, the Camp Roseland Academy. And then what you want to do here is pick whatever team you want to have them take over. So if you want an independent team, the team that I actually picked was I had them get rid of Old Dominion. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to have Old Dominion's roster. All that means is that my team is replacing Old Dominion. And then once you're done, you pick yes. You can go ahead and here and determine your conferences and everything and how everything's set up. Your BCS Bowl tie-ins and everything, you can set that up. And then once everything's done, go ahead into your dynasty. You can set up your coaches however you want in there as well. And then once we get in there, I'll show you a few more different things you might want as you're setting up your dynasty. Okay, so you go ahead, select your team. We know that they're in the Independence. Camp Roseland, they were a juggernaut team because they were all the best players. Not offensive coordinator, one head coach. They were all the best players in North Carolina, and I kind of wanted to show off all the players that went to that camp. All right, and you just pick up, your trees and everything here. It's not important for this video. You can set up your red shirts and everything, and then if you want to create prospects, this is your place to do it. From my experience and kind of going through, and I know everybody kind of got a little bit upset when it's like, oh, my prospect wasn't there. I can't fit 600 prospects. It was like 1,000 prospects. I thank all of you for submitting, and I looked through all of them too. It wasn't like I went through and I was like, I'm not picking this one because it didn't fit a certain criteria. It was just, I just kind of looked through and I picked. But yeah, you go and just create your prospects. And from my experience, it's 20-ish. I think it's 20 is like the cutoff. Once it gets to 20, it doesn't load anybody else in, even if you do continue to create prospects. So 20 is the limit. Yeah, you go ahead and you can do that. And then, yeah, I can't remember what team is reflected by Camp Roseland, but I'll actually go in and just see and jump in real quick just to see what it looks like. Camp Roseland might have just been a juggernaut, if I remember correctly, and then I just kind of edit everybody inside there. So yeah, once it gets through the scouting reports, we'll take a look and see. All right, so we'll go and look at their pipeline states. Okay, so they have Ohio, Illinois, and Texas. So I may have picked like OSU or something like that. I have no idea. It may have just actually been Juggernaut. But as you can see, they have like pipeline states that can possibly be set up here. So we already have Texas, Illinois, and Ohio. They can potentially get California, potentially get New Jersey, potentially get Florida, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, as well as pipeline states if they wanted to. They can go snatch those up. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into what's the other thing I wanted to do. So yeah, again, if you will want to edit your coach info, because the cool thing about Dynasty is that awesome offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators move around. So if you want to do something storyline wise, and have your coordinator maybe leave the team or like have them get picked up by somebody and maybe like do a matchup against them, you can actually go in. Now it's letting me edit them. And you can like do everything. You can even set how old they are as well. So if you wanted to like get their appropriate age or whatever, like say your coordinator is like 33 years old, he doesn't look that old. Oh wow, holy cow, your head. Yeah, and you just pick whatever your head you want and have them have a separate offensive and defensive style from you. You can set all that up in there and have them ready to go. You can even set up other teams' offensive coordinators as well and kind of tweak them the way that you want. So once you have all that set up, you can go ahead and jump into edit roster, okay? So some people were wondering like, oh, wait a minute, how did you get like this special like equipment for everybody like from TeamBuilder? Like that's not something you can do. Well, it is something you can do. You just have to do it inside of the Dynasty because there's no way to edit the roster once you're in when you're in TeamBuilder. You really get to edit it once you're inside of here. So I even did like, so if you go into and you download my team from Xbox 360 there, like everybody will look wrong and you'll be like, wait, that's not right. But yeah, I mean, you can essentially just come in here and edit and everything. And I'll show at the end of the video the TeamBuilder uniform. I completely forgot. But yeah, this is like a simple design I just did in TeamBuilder for Camp Roseland. I just wanted them to have like a simple red helmet because it's a camp, and then just a simple uniform like that. That all red does not look as good as I thought it did, but I don't know. I kind of wanted to mimic the Chiefs a little bit and got a little ambitious there. But anyway, here's where you can go ahead and edit the roster. Like somebody specifically was asking me like, how did I get like one sleeve on one side? You just go in here and edit and just, there you go. What is it? Long team color, bam, on one arm, and then what's that? His left arm. So you go to left hand, and then just put a glove on his hand, and there you go. You can do the Mike Vick or some quarterbacks just wear one glove on their non-throwing hand so that they can get a good grip on the ball, and then kind of get the natural feel on the right hand. That's how you set it up. And that's how you can make all your team builder teams, all your team builder roster look special and everybody look different and have a different feel. That's how all my players look, and how much time I went in just editing and kind of doing everything. So yeah, I mean, in terms of setting up your dynasty, that's pretty much all you really need to know. From there, I mean, you can set up the recruiting plan and everything however you want. That's all on you. You can set up your depth chart and do redshirting and all that. But yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll just take a look. I kind of want to see, this is always what you want to do too, is you want to go into TeamBuilder and also see how your uniforms look before they come out. So once you go into TeamBuilder, we'll go and, oh, that's right, I didn't save it. So actually, it doesn't matter at all. But yes, so I actually want to go look at the Greeley one, because Greeley's is awesome, and I love theirs. It's a good example of just how simplistic is better. Where's Greeley at? There we go. Just preview the uniform. Where it's like, the simpler that you go with the uniform, the nicer of a uniform ends up looking, and Greeley is just a good example of it. And you'll be able to see like the difference between like matte and kind of doing the stitching that I talked about earlier. So yeah, there you go. Like, look at that. The numbers just kind of look nice and flat on there, especially in game. They look a lot, in game it looks a lot better than this, but still, just nice simple uniform, yellow pants, purple top, yellow helmets, got the big G on the side, nice and clean. And I'll show you the Raiders uniform, not the Raiders, it's the Vikings. There we go, Littleton Vikings. So you can see the stitching, and again, just looks nice. The having that double black border on the outside makes the numbers just pop nice too. You got the silver pants, so it kind of it pretty much looks like the Raiders, but I wanted to give them a little different feel and have the kind of like displaced stripes, or not displaced, but I guess they're kind of like chopped in half, kind of like temple down the side there. And there you go, nice thick white border there. And then you go to the away jersey. There you go, nice black border around the side. So yeah, that's pretty much the basics and everything you need to know to kind of jump into Dynasty for NCAA football in terms of setting everything up. I hope this really helps you guys. I know it's a little long, but I wanted this to feel a little workshop-y so that you can see like everything I do in the background and how much work goes into it. Gonna be working on NBA 2K17 now. Get that done so I can either get it up tonight or have it ready for you guys tomorrow morning. And then NCAA 14 for Aurora should be out tomorrow night or Friday in the morning. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you. Yeah, and whatever you want to see next, put in the comments down below. But thank you again for tuning in for this episode of SportsCraft. See you for the next one.